Hello and welcome everyone to Shenandoah Esports. We're back again. I know previously we just had a match for our Rocket League team. They fell fortunately, but it seemed to be a pretty tough team they went off against. But now it's time for the debut of our Academy Marvel Rivals team. Chase, as an assistant coach for the team, do you have any words you want to say?
Oh, man, there's some words that I can say and some words that I can't because I am the assistant coach, so I do not want to reveal too much. I will say the team has put in a lot of work this season. They are an academy roster, so that means that they're a new team to the Shenandoah Esports program. But just like them, I am stoked to be here behind the desk, able to talk a little bit about what they've been doing this season. Been a lot of prep, a lot of fun, honestly, in the preseason matches. They've done quite a few scrims in the last couple of weeks. Ironing out the kinks since they're not necessarily a new team or necessarily a returning team. There's a lot of communication pieces, just synergy that they have to work through very early in the season. So I think all of that is out of the way going into this first map. We're very, very, very excited for their debut.
Absolutely. One way or another, it's going to be a great time. And like you said earlier, this is a very much a new team. These are obviously, I do believe this is the first semester that we have competition for as far as NECC goes for Marvel Rivals. So yeah, it's very new across the board. And especially with our team, we do have some players across in our roster that are from previous games. I know Kangaroo Feet was previously a League of Legends player. But now,
yeah, I was going to say, no, you're absolutely right. They're all across different teams. You got Doughboy, Bro Jones. They both came from Overwatch, primarily Overwatch players because very, very similar games and how they're played. So that's actually right. They do have experience playing in the program, but not necessarily playing on the same team with each other. And as you can see it now, we are going to be playing in around Plat to Diamond level lobbies. I think our team plays right around that level. We're in Division 6 of NECC, so I think it's a pretty good debut spot for the team. Division 1 is ridiculous. Danny was telling me earlier that's all one above all players, which is top ranked, top 500 Marvel Rivals. So I'm really, really excited that there's that many teams that joined NECC this semester for this game. I think this game has an incredible future ahead of it, but I'm also a huge Marvel fanboy, and I play a lot of the Marvel games and IP, so I'm a big believer that will continue forward. I think this is going to be their flagship game.
Absolutely. What a massive debut for a new title for NECC, right? So I do believe that like you said before, new team, there's a lot of room for improvement. So as you know, like I said before, you are an assistant coach for Danny Flames, previously a Shenandoah Overwatch player. And, there's going to be a lot of room for improvement. Do you want to take this semester as a way to just have the team grow that sort of cohesion?
So one thing I can reveal is at the beginning of the semester, and you playing on one of the teams in the Smash roster, you get it. It's one of those things where we got the team together. We have a pretty big Rivals roster. It's right around 8 or 9 folks. And we said, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to have fun? Do you want to learn? Or do you want to win? Out of those 3 things, what is your primary option? And they all chose to win. They want to win. So I will say as an Academy roster, they have put in the work. I won't reveal how many hours a week they have been putting in, but it is definitely above the average when you consider ranked hours, VOD review hours, just learning the game, leveling up, and just synergizing, playing and getting to know each other as a group. They've been doing a lot of team bonding activities, kind of building up that synergy I was talking about earlier. So I do think this semester they are in it to win it. We're hopeful that we're coming and gunning for Division 6 this semester, but we'll see. Ultimately, it is a new team. There's a lot of disequilibrium that could happen in a new team, and with that being said, we do have 8 or 9 players on the roster, so we have quite a bit of substitutes that we could throw in and out of these matches at a moment's notice.
For sure. And I know as an outsider, I do want to enforce the fact that this is a very hardworking team. And all the times I would come into the arena just to play, obviously I'm a Smash guy, right? And just as an outsider, I see the amount of work these guys put in. For example, I see Robot Ninja, and Sin just go into the game all the time. I always see at least a handful of the team on the game constantly. It just goes to show how much they are, I know you say they want to win, obviously. Yeah. But, you have to learn in order to win. But I'm glad they're taking time out of their own free time, like even outside of like official academy practice, to do that themselves. And I think that's just to show how dedicated they are.
Yeah, as a Smash player, you get that, right?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of time you're spending outside of the game. You're going to locals. You're watching matches online. Maybe even impromptu. Hey, you want to get some matches in at the arena? So yeah, certainly they're doing the same thing. It's very funny. I, have a couple of them in class, and I have to tell them, reorient sometimes because they just want to talk about Marvel Rivals in class. I'm like, all right, we're in class. We got to focus on schoolwork. That's what we're here for, right? But yeah, as you can see, it looks like our starting lineup tonight is going to be Kangaroo Feet, Gwen Sin, Bruh Jones, Robot Ninja, Doughboy, and Spook Pasito on our side. On the other side, we're up against Carlow this week, Carlow University, we got Alina Hemi, Demon Child, Goku, Gamerondo, Jello, Daddy Lizzie, I hate that, and Ant-Man.
Yeah, I mean, what a very diverse lineup of tags, Chase. But I do want to see, like, you were talking, like some of these players on the team are part of, in your class, and it has to be a very unique like vibe to the class. How like my professor is one of the coaches for the team I play. That's to be a very interesting dynamic.
It is, it is a super interesting dynamic, and I've never outright said it in the class, but you can tell everyone else in the class definitely catches you can tell they do know. They catch the vibe, even though I've not outright said it. They're like, Well, they're talking about Marvel Rivals a lot and referring to the team a lot.
Right.
But yeah, like you said, this is new to Shenandoah Esports, so maybe we should talk for a couple of minutes about the format, sort of how it works. It's very similar to Overwatch, so if you're a new viewer for Marvel Rivals, the format, very similar to the Overwatch format. First, you have Domination, which is the equivalent of Control. They're going to capture a point on the field and go back and forth. There will be 3 separate maps for that. They're going to go into a pick ban phase first for that, and then after, we will have Convergence and then Convoy. Convergence is your equivalent of Hybrid, and Convoy is your equivalent of just straight payload.
Right, and yeah, I do see a lot of parallels to Overwatch, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chase, but I know this is best of 5 series throughout the entirety of the league, but knowing there's only 3 game modes to my knowledge, like at least competitively, there are only 3 game modes in the game. So, once if we ever force into like a game 4 or above scenario, we cycle back and forth. Like you saw, it was you said it was Domination, then Convergence, then Convoy,
and you just rotate.
Yeah. So after that game 3, if we ever forced into a game 4 scenario, we go back to Domination, and we just go back and forth until a winner is declared.
Yeah, and just like most other games, there's great resources out there for the folks at home. If you want to look or learn more about the characters in Marvel Rivals, learn more about the maps, I recommend marvelrivals.gg, open source website, very easy to sort of understand what's going on behind the scenes. Overwatch, if you have an Overwatch background, it's very easy to sort of tell. But once we get into game, you'll see, and Overwatch is an incredibly flashy game, but Marvel Rivals, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell what's going on. So in an effort to not reveal anything, I will just be talking about the game from a very overarching point of view. And you can pick that apart if you want to. With that being said, though, if you want to learn more about the game, I'm always open to answering questions, DMs. Feel free to DM me questions about Rivals. Big fan of the game, obviously, wanting to coach it. But there's a wealth of knowledge about the game. I personally really like a component that's very different from Overwatch, the team-up mechanics that they do from season to season. So every hero in the game has not every single hero, but most heroes have another hero that they have a team-up ability that gives them a passive or an extra ability on their roster that they can utilize. And so you have some heroes that are anchors for these team-ups, meaning you need to play that hero in order to get the team-up for other heroes. A great example, Fantastic Four, First Steps came out earlier this year. If you play Invisible Woman and any of the other Fantastic Four characters, then you get armor on top of, you get an extra ability that gives you armor on top of your characters for both the Thing, Mr. Fantastic, and Human Torch.
Wow, yeah, I do know some of the, like, at least the idea of team-ups. I do think that is pretty cool. I like the idea of it. It kind of like forces a way, well, not kind of forces, but like incentivizes a way to have these like specific, like, I guess, compositions in a way that have like these very different benefits, so you don't have to like, you can like stray from like a particular like brawl or like a poke comp. You can do a bit of a mix with it, like you said with the Fantastic Four team up. Like you have like Invisible Woman. As I've noticed, she seems more like poke heavy, from what I've seen at least. And you can have like, if you want to, well, you can also do like some more like poke heavy stuff. I know Mr. Fantastic's considered like poke. I know
he's very much brawl. Mr. Fantastic, very much brawl. Yeah, you can poke a little bit with Mr. Fantastic, but it really is the same as Overwatch, where you're going to have hit scan, counter dive, and dive characters for the most part, and then you base your comps around like, so Mr. Fantastic would be a brawler, but he would be classified as an anti-dive character. When someone's trying to dive the backline, he would be jumping on them or helping out his teammates. You can give shields to teammates. You can jump on them and pull himself to an enemy. He gives himself sort of elasticity, and once he hits 100% on that elasticity, he hulks out, he gets bigger and can start swinging like a tank. So very much more like a brawl character for sure. And there's a lot of other team ups, like you said. The reason why I like the team up so much is in games like Overwatch, you have to nerf or buff heroes season to season, and you see that in Rivals as the game is new, but the long-term vision, from what I've heard from the developers, is the idea is to, instead of buffing and nerfing the characters, buffing and nerfing the team-ups season to season. So, for instance, for the longest time, there was a team-up between Spider-Man, Venom, and Penny Parker, where you would get an extra ability that would shoot Venom spikes out of you. That's no longer available this season. It is not something that you can do in the game anymore because they swap the team-ups around every season.
Right, I do know about that. Every season they do cycle around these different team-ups. I heard the horrors, that was the Jeff and the Storm team up.
Jeff Nato.
Jeff Nato, yep.
Yeah.
I heard the horrors about that one.
It's a fun one. And that one was introduced this season. It's a very interesting one because Jeff is very much a tech character. If you can play well against Jeff, the enemy Jeff is going to have a bad time. But if you don't know how to take him out, then it's going to be like chasing a chicken around, like trying to grab him. If you've ever seen Rocky, where he's trying to chase the chicken and just stumbling over himself.
That's a good way to put it, right? Just very slippery, I guess we do have.
Yeah, it looks like we got our first map, too. Ant-Man chooses Hell's Heaven for Carlow University. So that will be the first map we're going to for Domination.
And, yeah, I mean, these are all... this very much going to be a learning experience to me, to be completely transparent with you. So, obviously, I already told you about this, Chase, but it's more so for the audience at home. I'm not as, well-versed in Marvel Rivals as Chase is here, but, I have an Overwatch background, so I can take some of these like parallels and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This is kind of similar to that. They're both hero shooters, so you can draw some connections as well.
Yeah, shout out the Shenandoah Esports Super Smash Brothers Overwatch team.
Yep. Yeah. We keep making jokes about that. Me and the boys.
That's very true, though. So
yeah.
There are 3 different mission areas or maps that you'll see in Hell's Heaven: Frozen Airfield, Super Soldier Factory, and Eldritch Monument. But before we get into the actual map itself, first we are going to go into the pick ban phase. So they're going to pre-select their hero first and who they want to choose, and then they'll be able to pick and save a hero on either side. So that's an interesting mechanic in this game where you can save heroes that you want to play.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like ban slots and a lot of like save slots. I do like the idea of the save mechanic because it kind of helps I guess your players that might be like one-tricking a character.
Yep.
Or such. Like we see here, we just saved Invisible Woman.
Yeah, very hard. There, the Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger, and there's one more. All very white women, blonde hair, blue sort of outfits. They're all wearing the same. Emma Frost is the other one. So it can kind of be hard to tell by the icons. But for everyone watching at home, on the left side, you will see that Shenandoah banning. On the right side, that is Carlow banning. Carlow's also on the bottom of the screen, where Shenandoah is blue on the top. You'll also notice some icons are different. So in Marvel Rivals, you get a different icon if you are Lord with that character, meaning you've maxed that character out to its full potential. So, for instance, Demon Child on Carlow's team is hovering Doctor Strange, versus our own Bruh Jones is hovering Doctor Strange. You see how those look a little bit different? That's because he has Doctor Strange at Lord level.
Right, and I guess from what I've seen, from what I know about the Lord system, that it just kind of boils down to like how much you play of the character. So if you have Lord in the character, that means you have somewhat of an idea what you're doing with the character, right? You have a lot of play time with that character. You know what this character can do. You know what his strengths and weaknesses are, and Shenandoah. I already see quite a few Lords. We do see the Luna Snow, the Doctor Strange, the Psylocke, and Invisible Woman, all with Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. It's basically the time that you've played that character, but there's also interesting mechanics that play into the Lord system. For instance, kills. So if you play, say, Scarlet Witch, for instance, and you only have an hour on Scarlet Witch, but you have 2,000 kills, you could have Scarlet Witch at Lord, for instance. And you'll also notice that icon in the middle of the screen. That means that there is a team up active. So that means that we have a team up active on our team that is between Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch gets a secondary ability where she's able to shoot out missiles once, I believe, every 30 seconds. So she can hold her left click and her right click at the same time. It does immense amounts of damage.
Wow, yeah, and we do see, like we were talking about before, Chase, we do see the Fantastic Four team up between the Invisible Woman and the Mr. Fantastic from Carlow.
And the thing. Yeah, they're running their own team up on their side as well.
Before you attack. Get ready.
Yeah, and can I just say there are a lot of skins for this game. There are like
so many.
A lot of varying,
What makes you so
they don't really have a lot of. It seems like they don't have a lot of restrictions. We see that Doctor Strange skin. You can hardly tell it's him, honestly, but those look pretty cool. You see all like those zombie hands coming out of his shoulders. I do think that's pretty cool.
That's what I love about the Marvel IP, man. I grew up reading comics. Didn't have internet growing up, so I watched a lot of comics, and there's just a wealth of history to all of these characters, and a lot of the skins that they've implemented into the game are skins that are based on massive plot points. For instance, all of Season 2 was centered around the Hellfire Gala, and I was very surprised that they did that so early in the game, but it is a very well-known arc because of the different skins that came out and costumes that came out during that arc. As we make our way to point, I can confirm that we are playing on Frozen Airfield first, and we're pushing on. Bro Jones pushing up, trying to take some space, getting into the fight. That'll be Ant-Man, unfortunately, taking out Robot Ninja first on our Moon Knight on our side, forcing us into a 5v6 immediately.
Right, and we do see some tech coming out from Bro Jones. Doctor Strange has this kind of ability where his left click is kind of like a 3-shot burst, but you can actually cancel that into a melee during the end lag of it. But we do see like a lot of sustain. There's a lot of posts coming out from this Hela, and
No, absolutely. I was going to mention as well, like, similar to Overwatch, one of the most overpowered things you can do in Marvel Rivals is just backing up. Knowing when to take space and knowing when to give that space up, and that's going to be Sin taking space on Demon Child, immediately getting 2 picks. That's going to look like a Shenandoah point if they're able to keep up this pressure, forcing the 6v4.
Right, we do see that Invisible Woman coming out instantly. Now, I do know this is an ultimate based on a lot of sustain, where in that big circle there, your teammates are invisible, but you get a nice continuous healing as well. We do see that thing trying to get out of there with that charge, but could not quite make it as Daddy Lizzie, Jello, and Doom Child are all taken out.
Yeah, that's going to be point for Shenandoah's side, pushing them off point. Carlow was able to get 48% there very early due to the early pick, but look at the economy on both sides. It is bussin' for Shenandoah. 5 ultimates, online, including the Scarlet Witch ultimate, which could be catastrophic. Recently buffed, it now does 9,999 damage and pulls enemies in towards it. So they will not want to get caught in the crossfire of that one.
I knew I was already considered a one-shot. Maybe decided to buff the damage even more.
Yes. Now it will it will unequivocally one-shot. Before it was like, my clobber in time coming out from the thing, gonna push it into the back line. We're gonna see the Luna Snow ultimate come out, trying to keep the team alive. Squirrel Stampede to follow it up. Carlow's supports and our supports are pumping ults at the same time. Unfortunately, Doughboy will fall. Aya Agamotto coming through. Shenandoah needing to keep up the sustain. That's going to be Gwyn keeping the pressure off a little bit more by taking out Demon Child again. That makes the 3rd time we've been able to take some space in the the front line. Doctor Strange, similar to like a Reinhardt, you throw up your shield in the front, you're going to have a bad time if, say, like a Ramatra in Overwatch is just standing there punching at you. It's going to go straight through the shield. You could equivalent that to Emma Frost right in front of that Doctor Strange, like we're seeing between Shenandoah and Carlow.
Right, and I do have a question I didn't notice from before. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but we do see that ult getting popped on the Hela getting taken out. But a question I want to ask earlier, this ult charge carry over between swaps? Because I did see Goku Gamer swap from the Mr. Fantastic to the Squirrel Girl, and immediately in the next fight had his ult set up.
Phenomenal question, Kyle. Yes, they do. It is different for every character, and it does not exceed 50%. So if you have your ult on one character, you swap to another, the most you'll have is 50% on that character. But say if you have say you have 40% on one character, and you swatch to a character that has a little bit of an easier ult economy, they get their ult a little bit quicker, then you may have 50% on that character when you swap over. So there is a strategy around swapping in between those characters very early.
Right, we do see the Hela ult trying to get countered by the Grudgos, flying up, pulling up the shield in front of the ult, but we do see Doughboy hanging on by a thread, but cannot quite make it. Ult getting canceled by Gwen Sin. What an amazing call out.
Yeah, and it looks like, unfortunately, Carlow is going to take that point. Spook Pasito and Doughboy falling pretty early in that fight. Spook Pasito had ult. Unfortunately wasn't able to use it. No shows happening this time. But there's now going to be 4 ultimates on the board. Carlow, they don't have any. They will realistically have 2 to 3 up by the time the fight is engaged. With 68% on the board, Carlow is going to need to hold this next fight. If Shenandoah takes it, that will be map 1 in their favor.
As far I know this for sure. At the end of a round, the ult charge stays. Like normally, in many other hero shooters, at the end of a round, your ult charge will just reset to 0. But I know in Marvel Rivals that they stay after the end of the round. So
it sure does.
It kind of adds this bit of strategy of, do you want to hold this ult for this next round, or try to use it to win this next one? And we do see that Doctor Strange ult hitting 3, but we do see these support ults coming out, trying to get some more sustain.
Yeah, Eye of Agamotto is huge here. Pure Chaos coming through as well. If it's able to stay up, it will take out some characters, but right there we won't see anything. You Belong to Me coming out from Emma Frost as well. That's going to be 2 that's falling. Unfortunately, the target calling on Carlow is just too strong, and they are going to take map 1 from Shenandoah.
What a flip from Carlow, right? Going into that fight, Shenandoah had the ult economy, but from what I saw, Carlow just had the support ults needed to kind of build some more sustain as more ults slowly get built up. Yeah,
so this game, unlike Overwatch, I would say support ults are incredibly strong, like immensely strong. So you need an ultimate like a Hela ult, or like a thing ult that can stun, or like Kangaroo Feats on the Scarlet Witch, that is a moving diva ult, if you will. If you're able to take out a support while they're ulting, their ult drops. So if I'm playing Invisible Woman and I throw up the circle, the big AoE that you can only see out of, not into, and I kill the Invisible Woman, then that goes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm Scarlet Witch and I'm throwing down the carpet, ulting Us Against the World, you hear that call out, and I kill the Scarlet Witch, then that also goes away. So it's very important to prioritize those supports, get them out of the fights very early, so that you can take that space much easier, because they are very, very, very powerful in this game. We're seeing some swaps. It looks like on our side, we did see Goku Gamer swap back over to the Magic at the end of the last round, and it looks like they're going to sustain it going into this round. Only 1 ultimate on the board, and that'll be Jello's Emma ult going into this fight.
All right, but we did just get the Invisible Woman ult from Doughboy, and we do see Carla at the point first. Not quite getting their time for Shenandoah, but the point just opened up, and we do see the support ults coming out, as well as the Emma Frost ult, and I just got shredded. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of just diving our backline here. We saw that Spook Pasito falling down again. That's Doughboy now solo healing, and it's going to be enough to take point. And oh, that's what we call an ope. Looks like there will be a pause out on the play. Might be some technical difficulties going on. Might be something going on here. I guess we're going to see here in a second what is happening. But so far, been a pretty close game 1.
Right, and Carlo was able to flip it back. It did look like it was Shenandoah's favor. They had more ults going into this last fight when they were trying to get that last touch. But Carlow was able to clutch up and just take that round.
Yeah, it looks like we're even feeling some
Looks a
confusion
little
on our end too. What's going on here? But you're absolutely right, Kip. They had the ult advantage going into that last fight, but if you're just throwing it at nothing, you're not going to get anything out of those. You really have to. This game, similar to Overwatch, like if you're going to Reinhardt Shatter, it means nothing if no one follows up, right?
Yeah.
You got to Earth Shatter into a Tactical Visor or into a Dragon Blade. The same is very true with this hero shooter. You have to pair up your ultimates to find value in these fights. And unfortunately, at the end of that last map, when they got to point, they weren't able to stack those up together.
Okay, and it did look like we did get some technical issues, like you said. It did appear that a player, unfortunately, DC'd during that fight there. I do believe it's during that fight, but
yeah,
just some technical difficulties. We'll be back very shortly, in basically any minute now, I bet.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get back into these games, so I imagine that the DC will be temporary. And I think that might have, I don't know which side the DC came through on. It's actually not showing us on our end. And usually it does show you who DC'd. So maybe they're already back in lobby, but they should maintain that ultimate status as long as they DC while the pause is active.
I do see a Luna Snow A posing.
Oh,
that doesn't look normal.
yeah. I think we found the culprit.
Might have been Doughboy. Or Spookacito.
Spookpacito. Yeah, it looks like it's Spookpacito here. But I do like this composition that Shenandoah is running. I think that there's a lot that they can do with an Invisible Woman and Luna Snow backline. Both of those ultimates are incredible. Luna Snow is your Lucio equivalent of this game. Has an ultimate that can both heal and damage amp. So there's quite a bit that you can do with that ultimate. There's a lot of... you can use it aggressively or defensively, depending on the situation. And if you look between both of the teams, the composition is pretty similar. Not an exact carbon copy. Both have Lunas. Both have Emma Frost. Both have Doctor Stranges. You see a couple of differences in the DPS and the support line, but there are some heroes in this game that are just incredibly strong. Doctor Strange and Emma Frost being two of them.
Right. Those are like a few of the characters that I know have been consistently pretty strong throughout the game. Is Luna Snow, Invisible Woman. I think Emma Frost, ever since she came out,
Very strong.
I know Doctor Strange was pretty strong for most of the game's lifespan thus far. I do see as far as DPS goes, a lot of I don't know. I know DPS kind of fluctuates a lot.
It does. It really depends on what sauce you're looking for, right? I think Winter Soldier, Bucky is an incredible hero in this game, but can be countered. But the reset on Kraken Impact, his ultimate, is incredible. If you get a kill with the ultimate, it resets. You can do it again, and that is unlimited. So you can just keep getting kills. There's a strat to just sit in front of their spawn, wait for someone to come out, mark them, wait. But the way the ult works is you hit someone with it, it does a good amount of damage, and then if you kill them while they're marked, they stay marked for a certain amount of time, then you get the ult reset back once more. You mentioned it there. Emma Frost, an incredibly strong character in Marvel Rivals. She has a command grab, so you rush forward, you grab them, you throw them. So it's almost like a stun as well as being a grab. And then you can right-click out of it. Some characters, you can just completely one-shot if you jump in their backline, grab the support, throw them down, and kick them into a wall.
Right, I do know that she has a kick that could be comboed after the grab, and I do know it does it has a stun and does more damage if you kick them into a wall.
Yeah, it does a lot. It's nothing to be trifled with. And then Doctor Strange is incredibly powerful because the shield is really good. He just has a lot of utility in his kit. He can fly up in the air so it can get him out of some situations. He can also portal into point. The portal has an incredible cooldown. It's like 3 minutes long, but you can get to and from point and get the team in. You saw Brud Jones do it at the end of the last round, get the rest of the team onto the point. Doctor Strange is also incredibly powerful because he is one of the few heroes in the game that has an incredible reload cancel. So after there's reload animations for every character. For him, after it reaches the halfway point, if he melees, then you're actually able to get your full reload back. So you can cut that animation almost in half. You can also throw in a melee after every single auto attack that you pull. So he just has a lot of damage output that he's able to throw out there. And as a frontliner, as a tank player, Doctor Strange, Emma Frost, if you're going up against that front line, that can be something to not be eager to face, let's say.
Yeah, I know a lot of staying power in this game from what I've seen. We're talking about, characters that have been pretty strong throughout the entirety of the game. The Luna Snow, Emma Frost, Doctor Strange, Visible Woman. But we do I was saying this before, the DPS line. There's but I know by far there's way more DPS than there are in any tank or supports in this game. So maybe that's kind of the challenge in trying to balance them, because there's just so many of them, right? There's a lot you have to keep track of.
There are. Yeah, and I mean, there are a lot of compositions that you can run. That's why I also like the mechanic of being able to do the team-ups, because if you have a team-up, you can kind of compensate for not having a tank-tank DPS support lineup, right? If you have a team up that works for, say, 3 tanks, then that can be viable to utilize. Similar to how I was talking earlier about the Spider-Man, Penny, Venom combo. Running those 3 characters previously was a good strat. But now, looks like we're able to get back into game, and we're starting it back up. Shenandoah was able to take that first point. For those that did forget, Spook Pasito running back from spawn very quickly, trying to get there to heal the team and continue the support line.
All right, do you see, one more poking, trying over this corner. Is that AFK?
It looks like they have a player that is AFK, and you hate to see that immediately out of a pause. Looks like that will be some free percent on the board. Ant-Man's Hella going to go into Hell Unleashed right behind that corner, and that's going to be Bro Jones sitting there with the shield, now trying to take them out immediately. They are going to find, count them, 1, 2. We're going to respond with 1 in kind, 2 in kind. That puts us now in a 4v3 situation, trying to hold point as long as possible. Will they get to 50%? They might, because they're actually not sitting on point to take it right now. Kangaroo Feet trying to squeeze the last little bits they can out of the point.
Right, it did look like Daddy Lucy was BC'd, unfortunately. Hopefully they can get back to the game relatively soon, but nonetheless, Carlow still won the fight, so they still have some points racking up for this round. But BC trying to get those stakes going. It's not really called the things that go crosses that Moon Knight puts on the ground. I know he shoots into them.
Onks.
Onks?
Yeah, onks. And it sounds like the characters in the game are saying unk. It's very funny. A-N-K-H. Onk. Like an onk.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he throws and puts on the ground. Kangaroo Feet hopping in that back line with this team up. It's absurd the amount of damage that Scarlet Witch is able to put out. Yeah, you talked a little bit about the DPS line. We haven't even really mentioned much about Moon Knight or Hela here. Hela has a phenomenal team up with both Thor and Loki, where if she gets a kill while Thor or Loki are dead on her team, it will revive them. There are a lot of mechanics in the game that do revive teammates, and they are incredibly powerful.
Bro, I know Rocket has something similar to that, which has whenever a teammate dies, you like a revive station, or just get revived. I know Adam Warlock has a very traditional revive ability. If you're familiar with OG Overwatch, I know OG Mercy was able to have a full team res.
Yep.
I know Adam Warlock's ult is very similar to that, and we do see some more ults coming out of the Jello, swapping to Hulk, and it seemed to have worked.
Oh my lord. Kangaroo Feet in the back line, taking out both of the supports. Carlo is able to take the point, but for how long? Because if Shenandoah is able to back up and get the team together to push point here, they have no supports sitting there waiting for them. Everyone on point is currently sitting a duck, and Kangaroo Feet propping the feet up, tail behind him, ready to swing and going for the fences right now. 98%. They could tie up this game right now, and they're going to. The Hulk not jumping in time. Jello just a little bit too jiggly and slow to get to point.
Right, there's too much pressure on that last bit of that round there from Shenandoah, where Carlo had no choice but to back out. But we did see Jello making an attempt to try to get a touch, to try to contest, give them a little bit more time to try to, struggle away into this. And I'm not sure what's happening with this camera angle there?
Not sure. I mean,
either.
it is a new game, so it could be user error. It could be game error. I am able to see on one of our other monitors here. They're able to actually look around in game, and I think next we're actually going to have.
There we go.
Super Soldier Factory is our next point, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a lot of stickers.
Yeah. So originally you could only put out 1 sticker at a time. Now I think it's up to 6 stickers you can put out at a time.
Wow.
Pretty interesting that you can throw out that many, but. Yeah, lots of references, lots of memes, lots of fun with the stickers. The skins are the same.
And we have another pause.
And it looks like we're getting another pause because Daddy Lizzie is still not in the game. That is so unfortunate to see. What is going on with Marvel Rivals tonight?
Someone check their routers. There's something going on there.
Yeah, what is happening?
This can't be normal. I think this happened maybe like 3 times by now, but... hopefully, things happen sometimes. It's out of your control. Hopefully, this can get resolved pretty quickly.
Yeah, I imagine so. While we're in the break, though, I mean, look at the stat line. We got 5 ultimates on the side of Shenandoah, and Carlow has 1. So if they don't take this first point, I think you could say it pretty objectively. They're throwing in that regard. I mean, they have so much to throw at the point right now. They have Eye of Agamotto. They don't have Pure Chaos Chef. They have Invisible Woman alt, Luna Snow alt. Very, very easy to get a lot of value on point here, especially when they only have the Hela ultimate to combat that. Luna Snow might have something up in time, but it also looks like either they're a very popular composition right now in the meta is running triple support. And with that triple support, sometimes you're going to run a Loki. Because Loki's ultimate allows him to transform into another character on the field. Yep.
Oh, I know it's like similar, literally like Echo from Overwatch, where you can transform into that character, and if their ultimate builds up a lot faster than you would just like normally playing the character. And I know
when you switch with Loki you get the ultimate immediately.
Yeah. So it's just like, I think that's pretty cool. It's only teammates, right? Or is it enemies?
I think it's anyone.
Anyone?
I think it's anyone, and I could be wrong on that. Right now, I am running on like 4 hours of sleep, but I do believe it is anyone. So they could be Daddy Lizzie is running gonna run a support when they get back, or maybe they're just expecting that they're gonna be playing a 5v6. I guess we'll find out in due time.
Right, we really have no clue, right? But I did see a lot of talk about triple support, and I know Loki is a pretty popular pick. That ultimate being very strong, it kind of just like whatever you need, Loki can fill for that. Like if you want some more sustain, you can copy an Invisible Woman, because with how great the character is, one of these teams is gonna have one at the very least. Or if you want some more like damage out, you could go for like a Hela. Ult, or if they have a Bucky, go for a Bucky. Or you want more, crowd control, you can swap to the thing.
And to that point, healing is so powerful in the game right now because there's not a lot of anti-heal in the game inherently. Right. Doctor Strange has a little bit. They just released Blade. Blade also has a lot, 2 different pieces of anti-heal in his mechanic, but the character itself is a little underwhelming
I heard
right
he's
now.
Pretty
Not it. Not it. He's not necessarily Raven like everyone was hoping, but he is incredibly fun to play in quick play. I have a lot of hours on Blade already. So that could be a viable comp maybe later, but because like in Overwatch you had Ana very early, right? Where you had the antibiotic grenade, you could throw it out, get a lot of anti-heal onto the field. Marvel Rivals doesn't have that quite the same gravitas with anti-heal right now, so healing is incredibly powerful. I'm actually very surprised that Goats hasn't made its way into Overwatch. Listen to me, into Marvel Rivals more. You generally are going to see 3s. If someone is running triple support, you're generally going to see triple support, 2 tank line, 1 DPS. I'm surprised that we haven't seen, especially with Angela now being popular next week coming out and playable in NECC, we might see more Goats gameplay. And for those that don't know, Goats is I'm referring to the popular Overwatch mechanic where you would have, before roll-lock, 3 supports and 3 tanks cutting out your DPS entirely.
Right, and I don't think we ever brought up this fact, but for this week, Angela, the new tank, like Chase mentioned before, is currently banned because she's just too new.
Yep.
Next week, she will be legal again. So starting next week, we might be seeing some Angela being played from whatever team we'll come across. But But yeah, I do know she's a very unique tank. A very she's one of those few tanks that could like full on just like fly. Not even like similar to like a diva where she has those boosters where you can just fly for like 3 seconds in a single direction. She can just fly.
Nope. Yep. She is in the skies. You can look to her towards the western sky. She is constantly flying around on the map. I'm actually going to take a look at the rule book and look at these pause setting. Okay.
Looks like we're playing it out.
We're going in. Daddy Lizzie looks like they're getting back in game. So I will refrain from looking up any pause rulings until it potentially happens again.
Yeah, and it does look like, I thought for a second the ult charge wouldn't carry over between DCs, but it looks like Daddy Lizzie, is close to that Cloak and Dagger ultimate.
Yes, bless it be. They will get their ultimate back. That is now Doughboy on the Invisible Woman on point, and it looks like Shenandoah is able to take the mission area a little early due to Carlow not getting out of the spawn quite in time. So they're going to get that first touch, get a quick 10% on the board. Kangaroo feet, phenomenal positioning above this doorway, waiting for them to come through. That's the Winston. There's the ultimate combination I was talking about earlier, Kip. They were trying to pair the Moon Knight ult into the Emma Frost ult, pulling them into it. But we are going to see the grand finale come out, and the Emma Frost now popping the ultimate, trying to get our roster pulled off. Demon Child going to take out Rombot Ninja, so that's going to be 1 down, count them 2 down. It will be 34% on the board, 35, 36, but it looks like Carlow will take it in their position.
Right, and I do want to talk a little bit about this Loki character. They're very, very in character for him to be very tricky to deal with, right? He can place these clones on the map where he just stands still, but they also aim in the same direction where he is facing, so he could put more heals or damage into the team or an enemy. But, ooh, we got a big Doctor Strange ult coming out, and we do see the Cloak and Dagger coming out. Very big sustain as well. We want to talk about taking out Grudgos, and we do see Elena Hemi very sticking out last minute. We do see Amos swapping to Spider-Man. That's a very uncommon character from what I've seen.
Yeah, I thought he's playing Ant-Man, not Spider-Man. What?
He's not yet.
Not yet. Not in the game quite yet. But yeah, they will take that point. The Invisible Woman ult came in clutch. As you can see, the Eye of Agamotto, big, massive AoE pushes their bodies out of them, their spirits out around them. So you can get a big AoE out on the field. Bro Jones did it first, and Demon Child tried to do it in the backline. So whenever you hear an ultimate like that, you know that they're going to set up a fight. Therefore, you want to pop a support ult in those moments. And there we go. We're going to see a grand finale going in 2 point, comboed with a pure chaos. Ooh! And when I say comboed, I mean Kangaroo Fate did that in retaliation, knowing that the Luna Snow was ulting on the enemy team, so if they get the 999 damage I was talking about earlier, they're just going to pop them, unable to completely do anything in that regard. Spook Pasito getting a pick as well will mean that Carlow's going to need to back up. Any other picks here is going to be huge for Shenandoah, because Carlow will have even longer stagger time.
Right, as broken as Luna Snow's ultimate is, very big and sustained, can't sustain a one-shot.
No, and because they killed Demon Child last there, that means that it's going to be very hard to portal the point, and if Shenandoah is able to get them off early, it will be incredibly hard for them to get back. As I was talking about a second ago, there's the portal.
Oh, wait, that I think wasn't quite it.
Wasn't
Trying
quite
to see the cheeky pull and kill from Spider-Man. I do know this is a staple on this particular point on Spider-Man. Maybe that was getting goal that Anna was trying to go for. Not quite getting the pick on Sin, though, which is proving pretty detrimental for them as, oh my goodness, Emma Snow having a lot of, pretty sustainable character. Has a lot of armor, a lot of abilities to keep herself alive, so not getting that pull and kill was pretty detrimental. And that did cost Carlow the round and the game, so Shenandoah was able to take map 1, clutching their way back from a round 1 loss.
Yeah, they unfortunately lost that very first map, but they came back winning the next 2 games. That's something that I think the team has prided themselves on as they've started their season, is the ability to adapt very well in the moment. It did leave Carlow grasping at straws a little bit there. The switch to Spider-Man wasn't able to really do much on the field in comparison to the other picks that they were playing before. Wasn't really able to pull anyone off the field like you had mentioned. Spider-Man has a couple of different mechanics where you can either pull yourselves to them or you can pull them off of the map, because that little pit area where you had seen the overhang, the bridge cross, you can pull people down into that area, kill them pretty easily, but wasn't able to find those picks. So because of that, the value's kind of lost on the character. He's very much a dive character. We didn't see really much of the pairing up with the magic going in on our backline. Right. I will say as well, the Shenandoah team does an incredible job of, now, we worked on it, but keeping the backline alive, right, and really playing that counter dive composition exceptionally well.
Right, and that's something I do tend to see from these sorts of supports like Luminous Snow and Invisible Woman. They are pretty susceptible to dive. They do have like 1 or 2 anti-dive abilities. Like I know Luminous Snow has something similar to like an Ana Sleep Dart, where like she can just freeze the enemy in place for a while. And I know Invisible Woman has like a Lucio Boop sort of ability, but sometimes it's not going to be enough when there's either like a Spider-Man or a Black Panther in your face.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I'm very glad that we haven't seen Black Panther yet. I think that they banned them going into that game. Incredibly hard hero to deal with when you face a good one. Same with Spider-Man. Both of those dive characters can be a force to be reckoned with in that regard. Looking at the map pool, though, Kip, it looks like next we will be going into a convergence map. So that means the loser picks every round. So that means that Carlow going into this round will pick either Empire of Eternal Night, Central Park, Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, Hall of T'Challa, or Clintar Symbiotic Surface, which is 3 separate maps that they could choose.
Right, they all sound very cool, but these titles have a lot going on to them. But
they do.
So I can't really connect the name of the map to the map. So it's gonna be a new experience for me at least. But we do see a bit of a substitution coming out from Carlow, swapping out Daddy Litzy for, how do we pronounce that tag? I'm gonna say Lint Kid.
Lint Kid. Yeah, that's what I thought. I think it's Lint Kid. That when we were going through the pregame prep, we both were, I think, having a stroke trying to pronounce that. But I'm pretty sure it's either Link Kid or Link KD. It looks like they're going to pick Yizgard for our next map. And was that an option? Am I tweaking? Am I?
Oh, it's like a particular map pool in the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading it backwards. We were on Domination previously. That's Convergence. Yes. So Flames is right. I am not tweaking. I was like, wait a second. I don't think they can pick that right now. So now they know what they're going to pick. So if we lose this upcoming round, we know not to pick Yizgard because that's what they want for Convoy. That is a Convoy map, not a Convergence map.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they did, bit of miscommunication. It is the first week of competition for this game. So, you're not gonna get everything perfect. Everyone's gonna be new to this.
Yeah.
Unless we have some collegiate pros up in the higher divisions, but currently, everyone's new. This is a learning experience, I would say, for everybody.
Yeah.
So
what I really like about the game is that the Marvel Rivals Championship is open for anyone to compete. So we're seeing not only a lot of colleges competing in NECC for this, but a lot of these college teams are also signing up for the Marvel Rivals Championship, which is available through the client. And you just need 6 people on your roster that are all above platinum in level, and you can sign up and play in it.
I do like that. And it looks like we are picking Wakanda. Before.
Yep. Hall of T'Challa, and we're going to the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda, like you said. Yeah, this is a great map. This has been out since, I believe, the first season of the game. Very, very excited to see how they do on it for sure. I know that Payload is a little tricky in some other games, i.e. if you're playing Overwatch and your goal is to stall, you're playing Wrecking Ball, right? That you're going to point, or like a Winston. Very, very similar and could be applied to Marvel Rivals. So sometimes your compositions will be very different when you get into these payload-esque maps, because how they play around the maps are incredibly different from, say, the domination map style we just saw, where you have to go to the same point. You could be playing to stall, you could be playing to brawl, like we were talking about earlier, get picks with a poke composition. There's a lot. So there's a little bit more expression you can see in these map styles.
Right, and I do think with the convergence map selection, we could see the potential for some dive, right? Because at least with domination, it's a very set in stone like map variation. With convergence or convoy, it's constantly moving. So there's bound to be a lot of more space going on between them, which allows for more dives. And when dive doesn't work as well, when the space is a lot more confined rather than more open. So we could see some more possibilities coming out for these potential team comps. We might be seeing some more dive, since kind of like a Venom or like a Hulk. But from what we see in these original picks, we could be seeing a lot of the same so far.
So far, and it does look like we have switched sides, so you can see we're at the bottom now for Shenandoah. Carlow is at the top. I think they might have been trying to bait us there. Ant-Man hovering the Black Panther, so we banned the Black Panther first. They are going to keep the Hela in response. So now it's up to Shenandoah to decide what they want to keep. They're going to keep the Magneto, a pick that we haven't seen quite yet in the game. And it could be because they might be thinking they're running a dive composition here. Magneto's just great for survivability as well, so maybe Gwen or Joe is waiting to see what they're going to choose. Choose that in retaliation. Punisher ban next.
And let's see what Carlow bans. We do see a Bucky ban. Okay, so could be some, I guess, either some predictions or doing some scouting.
That's definitely pointed.
Right.
That's definitely pointed.
I know Robot Ninja's a big Bucky fan, so that might have something to do with it.
Hey, you said it, not me. hey, yo, you said it, not me. But yeah, Bucky is an incredibly popular character, and he has a lot of resets he's able to pull off. That could spell disaster for a team like Carlow, who's already sort of getting having trouble keeping their backline sustained.
Right, and you see a lot of good saves coming up from Shenandoah. A lot of traditional characters. You see Magneto. We didn't see him last map, but kind of a bit of a retaliation save following the potential Emma Frost ban. That was Carlow's first ban, and we do see the Invisible Woman save from Shenandoah.
Right. I am such a goober, Kip. They banned Emma Frost, so that's why they saved the Magneto. Right. I'm almost certain. Right, so we're not going to see an Emma this game, which is fine. Emma can be a lot to deal with. They are going to ban out the Psylocke and the Magic as well. Are we about to get to
Blade?
He raves me. Oh, no.
Oh, is that Blade? Is he listening to music while he...
Well, it's the music from the first Blade movie when he walks into the rave, and they have the sprinklers turn on with sort of the blood hit everyone, and then the vampires attack everyone in the rave. That's the song that's playing. So when he ults, that song plays. That's why I refer to him as the boom 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 boom.
That's
very
awesome.
fun character.
I do something that's very cool about Marvel Rivals. Overwatch, it has it's a very different world because it's a lot of original characters. There's a lot of there's a lot of I guess possibilities they can do because they have a lot of free reign with what they could do with the IP. With Marvel, it's a lot a deep history of the lore, the characters. They have so many characters to go off of, and like we were talking about earlier, they have a lot of skin opportunities mentioned before. I know Marvel has been around for a super duper long time, so there's a lot of material they can go off of here.
Yeah, I think started to get really popular in the 70s with the Fantastic Four, and then when the X-Men animated show and the Spider-Man animated show took off in the 90s, just exploded in popularity off the back of DC. You know, Batman and Superman were the pinnacle of comics for the longest time, and Marvel was really able to ride the coattails for a long time. Speaking of riding the coattails, everyone riding this Doctor Strange's coattails, trying to keep the team alive in the back line. You can see that is Shenandoah pushing first. They are attacking point. I know that there's a lot going on screen. For viewing purposes, if it's red, it's probably Shenandoah's. If it's blue, it's probably Carlow's.
Right, we do see Shenandoah on the attack first, and how convergence works is that you have to, take control of a particular control point at the start of the map, then you can move a hybrid to full cap.
Correct.
And we do see Carlow trying to make a defense, but we do see Robot Ninja falling. In return, we do see Jello falling out of the hole, so he's now back into Bruce Banner.
Yeah, and that is a big pick. Very similar to D.Va in Overwatch, how you can D-Mech D.Va, you can D-Hulk Hulk.
Is that the term, D-Hulk?
Yep, D-Hulk Hulk.
Okay, that makes more sense. I do see, a new pick coming out from Carlow, the Namor. From what I understand, he's kind of like the Symmetra of this game, where he plays down these, I don't know what they're called, he plays down
squids.
Oh, just squids? Okay. So he plays down the squids, and they kind of act as like turrets. There's a lot of area denial, a lot of chip, or just demands a lot of attention just to get rid of them. But we do see Robot Ninja getting just picked once again from this Phoenix.
Yeah, unfortunately too, Shenandoah has quite a bit of ults on the board going into this fight, so they could have kept them up. But yeah, this Phoenix, it is a hit scan character, does apply a burn mechanic that does quite a bit of damage. Gwynson trying to take this high ground, move around. You mentioned the Namor earlier. Yes, Namor in this game is incredibly popular. He's getting hit with it right now. That green beam is a Gamma team up with the Hulk. So Hulk and Namor have a team up as of this season that does an incredible amount of damage. You have to focus them down or you're going to have a bad time, as we're seeing in the back line. Goku Gamerondo taking out 2 against Shenandoah. Shenandoah just pairing all of those ultimates up. We'll see what they do to adapt. But the healing line for Carlow, they have 2. They have the Rocket and the Invisible Woman. The Phoenix is going to take out Brud Jones. That is unfortunate. Kind of all over the place with that, but right now the gameplay is kind of all over the place as they're holding down point. Carlow has 2 ultimates online.
Right, we do see Gwynson pulling out a portal. We're going to see Warriors put out right on top of the point, and they're going to pull in with these ultimates. They have every ult except for Robot Ninja, but we do see 2 ult kills coming out from King Rufy. I do know there's this little trick that Scarlet Witch has where if she ults before going to the portal, the other team will basically not be able to hear her, right?
Yep.
So, I guess the counterplay to Scarlet Witch's ult is that it's very loud. She just screams at the top of her lungs, but if you can't hear that, it's much harder to see coming.
Yeah, if you time it right as well, if you Strange Portal while Scarlet Witch is ulting, it actually sucks her through the portal and spits her out on the other side, so you can use it as like a cannon to shoot your Scarlet Witch at the enemy team. There's really, the timing can be incredibly difficult, but it is incredibly rewarding when you're able to pull it off.
Right, you see all these burns coming up from the Phoenix, and oh my goodness, King Rufy hanging on by a thread, but we'll be holding on. We do see this, Rocket Raccoon is a character I was talking about before, right? Just a lot of sustain, but not a lot of like offensive pressure, but he can keep himself alive because he has 2 dashes and, a wall climb, a wall claim, I guess I should call it. He also has that revive station. It might have happened earlier in this map, but we did see someone from Carlow falling, but didn't get revived by the, oh my goodness, the
damage.
Do we call that an Ajax? Is that what that was?
An Ajax?
No, don't come out yet, sorry. But it did sound like she was popping ult, but that's my bad.
Are you talking about the Scarlet Witch right there?
No, the Phoenix. It sounded like she was popping her ultimate.
Oh.
But
her ultimate is called Insong Inferno.
Okay.
Insong Inferno. She's screaming, "I am Phoenix" when she ults.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You are nothing is what you hear when it is on your team. Yes, that is true. Similar to Overwatch, you are going to have different sounds that play when your teammates are ulting as a specific character versus the enemy.
Right, we do see that revive stage being brought out, and oh my goodness, 3 getting taken out by the Kangaroo Feet, Scarlet Witch, and Shenandoah. What looked like a very, you know, a fight lost at first with the Robot Ninja and Doughboy going down was Kangaroo Feet being able to claw it back for them.
In a game that values healing so significantly, having a character that can one-shot in the radius that Scarlet Witch is able to, and their primary fire be like a Moira primary fire is just absurd game design. But you have to take advantage of moments like that. Shenandoah certainly capitalizing on the opportunity.
Right, you see that Baby Hulk being shredded, and Shenandoah building up those ultimates.
Baby Hulk.
Sorry.
No, I like that. I like that. Baby Hulk. It is
I got
Baby
that.
Hulk.
I got that from my Overwatch brain. Right, whenever a Diva's Ivermectic, the official term is Baby Diva.
Baby Diva, yeah.
So I thought the term for
Baby Hulk.
Bruce. Yeah, Bruce Hulk is just the Baby Hulk. I thought that would make sense, but we do see the Rocket Raccoon ult coming out, and I do believe it's like a bit of a damage boost, right? Like an AOE damage boost coming out to me by teammates, and we do see that Namor ult coming out, big stump, and not quite getting any picks, but we see a lot of ultimates just coming out. The Doughboy, Invisible Woman ult taking out Doctor Strange, and Robot Ninja taking out the Hulk.
Yeah, an absolute. You heard the eye of, and then it cut out. That's because Spook Pasito was able to get a stun on the enemy Doctor Strange when they were trying to get an ultimate out, canceling out their ultimate, and nothing came from it. That's why Doctor Strange on their side has already 67%, because when you cancel an ultimate, it doesn't take it down to 0, it takes it down to 50.
Really? Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes, so you still get some of that value back, but that was an incredible play by Shenandoah. That actually, I think, saved them the round because they were able to get some support ultimates off of that play. Beautiful movements from Spook Pasito.
Right, some great disruption coming out from the supports on Shenandoah. Spook Pasito getting that crucial freeze on that Doctor Strange ult.
Get that shark out of here. Ain't no way you're playing the shark. Yeah. They're gonna go back over to the Luna. Venom, yeah, Venom can be incredibly good dive character. You're generally gonna see him played on defense. I am surprised that they're gonna run it on the offense, but
and Spider-Man.
I think
that is a crazy Venom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They got the ugly skin on.
That looks ugly.
I think there are some skins in the game that look ugly. This Venom skin, he's a bird.
Some of these skins are too much, I'll say. I'll be the one to say.
Yeah.
They're
Which ones?
What do you mean?
Which ones are too much?
I mean that in the sense that there's a lot going on. Like that Venom one, there's just like you can hardly tell that's Venom.
Yes, yes. Some of these skins, there are definitely a lot going on, and it's very hard to tell what is actually going on. The Doctor Strange has a skin. Prod, you guys suck. Doctor Strange has a skin where he has a bunch of hands growing out of his back. That's kind of hard to tell what's going on at times as well.
Yeah. Back to the game.
Back to the game.
We do see. Ooh, I like that.
I love that skin.
That Spider-Man skin. It's like the third Spider-Man movie, right?
Yeah, the black suit Spider-Man
movie. Yeah, the symbiote suit.
He actually has the emote in the game, the dance that he does.
I do know that he does have the dance. And you see a lot of. I guess we are going to see a bit more of a dive comp from Carlow with the Venom and the Hulk and Spider-Man, but Venom already getting taken out.
Yeah, so Invisible Woman has an incredible move that can push or pull people towards her, and if you can pull someone into the team and then get a good follow-up on that, they're going to have a hard time staying alive. But that's going to be Goku Gamerando taking out both supports from Shenandoah. The moment they turn around to try to save the backline, the hit scan are not sleeping on it. And Carlow going to take it very early on, it looks like. This Venom Hulk combo can be a lot to deal with diving in the backline, so I am curious how Shenandoah try to stand up against this.
Right, we do see an attempt to touch from Shenandoah. Both tanks trying to touch the point but cannot quite get it in time. Carlow will be capping that first point much faster than Shenandoah was able to when they were on attack. But you see a time for a big slam from the Hulk, but getting de-hulked, left with Bruce Banner. Kangaroo Feet will be falling to Goku Gamerando, but Carlow may have won that fight, but they still have the Bruce Banner.
Yeah, they still have the Bruce Banner up, and Bruce Banner can get ultimate pretty quickly. He has a Gamma Grenade he can throw at his feet that gives him quite a bit of ultimate charge in between fights. So we're hearing the Moon Knight ult come out. Is there any pairing with that? It doesn't sound like it. Just kind of throwing ults out on both sides. Nothing much is going to come from it, but this is the name of the game, right? It is payload. You have to hold and stay on payload. So if they're able to stay together and not get separated too much, they should have an all right time dealing with the backline. As I say that, Spider-Man is going to ult in the backline, and we're going to see the Luna Snow ult come through as a retaliation tactic.
Right, we do see an attempt from Spookpacito to try to save Doughboy with the Luna Snow ult, but unfortunately the Spider-Man ult was too much, and Spookpacito a little too late to save the other support.
Yeah, but Doughboy coming back up with the Invisible Woman ultimate, so should be good. I mean, they're holding point for now. This is an incredible spot to hold as well. You have a lot of areas you can fall back to on both left and right sides of this payload. There are significant health packs in the area as well, depending on what area you're standing on and taking. So if Shenandoah plays their cards right, they can hold here for really the rest of the map.
Right, and yeah, Shenandoah currently winning the ult economy. We have both support ults, actually, excuse me, just the Invisible Woman ult, but both tank ults, there can be a lot of, and Eggman falling very early in the fight. We do see the whole ult coming out, similar to like a Primal Rage from Winston, and we do see oh my goodness. Oh my, yeah, that was value out of the Hulk ult. It's like similar to Winston ult, where you kind of keep yourself alive, just resets your HP, and you are able to like grab an enemy to just smack him around, but clearly when they were trying to grab Gwen, just did not seem to get much value out of it. And as you saw, Kangaroo Feet getting 2 picks with the Scarlet Witch ult, and the rest of the team falling short after.
Low key. And not Loki the character, Low-Key, L-O-W-K-E-Y.
Oh boy.
Hawk has probably the worst ultimate in the game.
It doesn't seem very good, because at least with like Winston Overwatch, it keeps yourself alive. It's great for touching, but you can at least juggle like people in the corner or just boop them off the map. Like, as far as I'm aware, I know that Hulk's ult isn't very good, because at least the grabbing thing, because just leaves him out in the open, you can still get shot, and it doesn't even do as much damage as far as I'm aware.
You can take like a support out in the backline, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and you can really only do it once towards the end of the ultimate. I want you to tell me or guess what Invisible Woman's ultimate is called. It's called Invisible.
Oh, just Invisible?
It's literally called Invisible. I thought it was called Disappear for the longest time, but yes, it is called Invisible. So, as we're talking about it, a Fate of Both Worlds is Luna Snow's ult, and Invisible is Invisible Woman's ult, since we're seeing that on both sides. Speaking of seeing on both sides, Goku Gamer making the swap to, and you're going to hear the boom, 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 when he ults here in a second, as this blade. If he stays alive, and it doesn't look like that is going to happen.
And we do see the Magneto ult. They're going to get a pick, not quite charged up enough, but we do see a lot of sustain as Spookpacito, I believe both Luna Snow ults come out, just keeping both teams alive, but we do see Elena Hemi falling short. Actually, not quite yet, but Barjo's taking out 3 there. With the Magneto, no ult required, and Shenandoah holding on to the ult with both support ults being popped this fight, but they just want to further, make it a lot harder for Carlow to kind of sustain from here, try to get one last push. The Venom ult coming out, not getting much value out of it, not getting as much shield from it, and falling very quickly. The only ultimate to speak of from Carlow is this Doctor Strange, and there's still a lot of ways for it to get canceled out. Goku Gamer swapping back to the Fantastic, Mr. Fantastic, getting the Fantastic for power-up.
Yeah, they do seem a little lost here, Kip, in terms of ulting what they want to do with this composition. Carlow finding themselves between a rock and a hard place, really needing to move this payload or they're going to spell the end of the second map. Perfect Hex coming out, Scarlet Witch pushing into the back line. Not going to take any kills, but is going to steal that Doctor Strange shield and allow the rest of the team to push in. We hear the Ashanti power coming through. That is the Eye of Agamotto taking out a few. They're going to respond in kind, but Kangaroo Feet is there to help out the rest of the roster. Will it be enough? Probably not. Maybe able to get the heal, but now it's going to be a back and forth, and Ant-Man going to take the pick there, but it is overtime, so they have to regroup and touch if they want to seal the deal on this map.
Yeah, Ant-Man turning from what looked like a lost fight into a winnable fight. I believe we took out 4 in that last fight, but like you said, this is overtime until they have to cap this second point. There is no room for error for Carlow. We do see a bit of a desperate teleport coming out from Gwenson, trying to kill the Hela, but getting the ult to save herself. But these support ults coming out, just kind of just end the fight. And Kangaroo Feet getting 3 with ult, taking out Ant-Man extremely right after. Kangaroo Feet is on fire with these Scarlet Witch ults.
He's kicking and screaming for the team, taking them to a land down under. Yeah, that was a phenomenal play from that Scarlet Witch, really coming in clutch the last couple of rounds as Bro Jones has been on this Doctor Strange, and we've seen the team up with this Scarlet Witch. It's been incredible. The ultimates, what is it called? Reality Erasure, I believe, is incredible, and they have found a lot of value off of them.
Right, and the name of the game, that map looked like a lot of ultimate economy. Shenandoah was just constantly on top when it came to just the ult economy. They were so efficient in saving their ultimates. You did see a lot of the tanks, both tanks from Shenandoah, just having a lot more, very conservative with their ult charges, right? And they were still able to win these fights when they were down on, letting these support, I guess these ultimate in general, rip from Carlow, but yeah, just amazing showing from Shenandoah thus far. Is not quite over yet. Is best of 5. So we first win 3 maps. We are now going to go into a convoy map, and as you will discuss the banning and picking process, to see the morale for Shenandoah is up. But yeah, do you have any words about what could be coming next, Chase?
Man, I'm telling you, just because I'm bored, I want to see, because it's pretty favorably in Shenandoah's favor right now. I want to see some hero swaps. We've seen a lot of Scarlet Witch. We've seen a lot of Moon Knight. I get that they're not trying to put characters out there that people might be able to snipe, and I respect that, right? As their coach, I would almost want them to do that. But as a spectator, man, open the fridge and show me your sauce. Show me what you got cooking in there. I want to see some flashy plays. So going into this last map, I'd be interested to see if they swap around some heroes, maybe due to the pick bans. I think that Carlow could have been incredibly more intentional on their pick bans. Really, the only targeted ones were the Emma Frost and the Bucky, but we haven't even seen Bucky yet at all tonight. So I am curious whether or not they're going to maintain those bans going into this third map, or if they're going to, take the Scarlet Witch off the field, or take the Doctor Strange off the field, for instance.
Yeah, if I was Carlow, I would probably try to mix up my banning process this time. I think they've been banning the Bucky from Robot Ninja across both maps, and maybe they might consider something like a Scarlet Witch ban, because it's been
a lot.
Yeah,
it's been a lot.
This Scarlet Witch character is gonna Kangaroo Feet a lot of mileage, but we'll just have to see, right? Things can change from from map to map. Both teams can, make some adjustments to keep themselves in the game, but as far as morale goes, it seems like Shenandoah is still having the edge here. They all seem very motivated. Just the closest one out. Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Are we going to Tokyo 2099? Is that the next map? Did they decide that? Is that what the decision was made for? Because we are moving to Convoy last. Tokyo 2099 could be, yep, Spider Isle. So they are going to choose this map first. So we're in the last map, you had to take the point first to push the payload. In this map, you start immediately with the payload like right in front of you. So specifically with Spider Islands, this is a very interesting sort of loadout map. You might have seen, if you follow any Marvel Rivals, say on like TikTok or you watch any YouTubers, a lot of Spider-Man and more recently Angela's like to wait outside of the spawn immediately on this map and pull people off because you are literally spawning directly next to the ledge of the map. So we could see some shenanigans at the beginning of this this round. I guess it's a matter of what the picks look like on both sides.
Right, and yeah, we did see Ant-Man on the Spider-Man across both maps at some point, right? So that idea is certainly not out of the realm of possibility. And I might be wrong to say this. Are we seeing a swap from Shenandoah?
Yeah, we are. It looks like Orpheus is coming in now.
And Ultra Lee.
And Ultra Lee, yeah. It looks like they're throwing in two players, maybe shaking some things up for Carlow. It looks like there's some R's in chat. I love that. You know, I think it's very important to get players that are maybe having to sit on the bench some playtime, right? They've been here just as long as we have. We've had the privilege of being behind the desk and talking through the series, guiding everyone at home through what's going on. They've just been locked in the entire time behind their computers like, what's going on? What's happening? I got to stay locked in. I got to stay locked in for the moment's notice that they do get substituted in like we're seeing in front of us now.
Right, and but it looks like both tanks are being swapped out. Brudjo's and Gwen Sin both being swapped out by both Orpheus and Ultra Lee.
Yeah,
these two players don't have much info on me personally. I haven't seen them play as much as the staples of Robot Ninja, Gwen Sin, Doughboy, things like that. So it's definitely gonna be new for me at least.
You will see what they like to play as we get into the game, but I like that. I think they're meeting me halfway here, Kip. Obviously they can't hear the stream; they don't know what's going on. But I think maybe they were shaking off, the dust a little bit. Like, all right, let's get some people in here that haven't had a chance to shine. We're gonna see what kind of sauce they got as we're cooking tonight. Spook Pasito hovering that Loki. Ultra Lee hovering the Spider-Man. Yep, that is one of Ultra Lee's favorite characters. And it looks like the rest of our roster not really going to hover anything. Curious. Yeah, because you can hover all you want. You don't need to pick or ban anything. It's really for prod. Curious what we decide here, and Doughboy is actually going to be hovering the cloak and dagger combo. A hero, might I add, that I read a lot of comics about growing up, and was not expecting to be one of the first release characters in this game. I was very, very happy to see them added to the roster as early as they were.
Yeah, upon seeing the release roster of this character, I've never heard of cloak and dagger. It's like there's just two people in one. I'm not sure what their deal is. They have it's they're cool aesthetically. Because what is Cloak? Is he he's like a ghost? What is he?
Yeah, so they both got their powers from a Weapon X type program that was actually preying on drug addicts. So they were actually both Cloak and Dagger were on the streets. They were taken advantage of through this program and then transformed into superheroes. They shut down the program after becoming superheroes. They're paired a lot with Spider-Man in the comics, and sometimes with the Midnight Suns. So Cloak is able to teleport people. He's like an extra dimensional being. If you watch, say, My Hero Academia, there's that character that's able to teleport everyone sort of onto the field. Very similar to that. And then Dagger is the light side. So able to throw light daggers, create flashes and blind their opponents. So they do have... And that's at a very base level, right? I'm not trying to nerd out on broadcast, but at a very base level, that's what they do, some of their backstory, but they're not very well-known Marvel Comics characters. I read a lot of a series called The Runaways growing up, and they were very prominent in that series. Speaking of prominence, they really, really, really do not want to see this Winter Soldier at all.
Yeah, like, once again, so far, like leaving. I was just gonna say,
Leaving it on the board.
Or I was just gonna say I thought they were gonna leave the Scarlet Witch open once again, but you know, banning Scarlet Witch for the first time in the series. We do see a Mantis pick coming out from Orpheus.
Interesting.
Look like we're running a triple support sort of comp, 2 tanks and 1 DPS. Like you said before, Chase, you did see some variation of Goats and Marvel Rivals, you know, the triple support, but still 2 tanks, but just only 1 DPS.
And if I might direct your attention, you'll see both Doctor Strange and Invisible Woman have little Marvel Rivals symbols in the corner of their character. That means that they are the base character or the core character of a team-up.
Oh.
So you need that character in order to play the team-up. So sometimes you'll see bans come out that will ban that core character so that they're not able to get that team-up. In this instance, Shenandoah actually banned out the Namor altogether, and they banned out the Namor altogether because Hitscan Carlow has shown that they are exceptional with specifically Ant-Man. Ant-Man now sitting on that Psylocke, which could be danger for the backline of Shenandoah. That is ultrally, like you had mentioned earlier, on that Penny Parker. If you've seen Into the Spider-Verse, you know, a variation of Peter Parker, somewhat. And yeah, we are seeing a triple support run from the Shenandoah roster. That's going to be just Robot Ninja sitting on this Moon Knight as the main DPS. But you had mentioned Orpheus is on this Mantis. Mantis can pump out that damage and is actually a hit scan character, can get some really good headshot damage.
I do hear she has like a lot of like parallels to like Jericho from Overwatch, where I know her like healing and like damage boosts are tied to like a resource, and whenever you get a crit, like I got through like a headshot from her primary, that's how you can get, you know, more of those back, which just pump out more healing, but more, you know, damage boost as well. I know she doesn't, her healing output isn't the best, but her utility comes out through her, you know, damage of her own and her damage boost.
Her damage boost and her utility, you hit the nail on the head there, Kyle. They are incredible. And I love that Shenandoah is doing what they're doing here. They knew that Carlow was going to play some sort of brawl composition here, so they said, you know what? The best thing that we can do against a brawl, and this is just in general in Marvel Rivals, is play a Groot where I can put up some walls behind you. If you push in, you're now blocked off by your team, especially in these small corners like we're seeing in front of us. You can just place that down. Robot Ninja, also you'll see that they now have sort of a veil around them.
Oh my goodness!
That is...
Oh my goodness, Robot Ninja finally showing up in this series, getting a 5K on the board.
Yeah, that was pretty massive. Like, that left me speechless. You had to take over there because that was pretty good.
Khonshu finally showed up this time around. There you go. He wanted a kind of a delayed team kill coming out from Robot Ninja. Amazing awareness, showing that they're all pretty much grouped up on the point, popping that Moon Knight ult, popping forward, and normally we see these jet bolt. Are we gonna get anyone swallowed up? Doesn't look like it, as Alena Hemi getting taken out with Kangaroo Feet, but we do see another Moon Knight ult coming out with the Loki ult, but Loki falling very shortly. You see Shenandoah slowly faltering. They're slowly losing their way, and there they go.
Ooh, yeah, I don't necessarily know if I agree with that situation there. Doughboy did fall with their Cloak and Dagger ultimate online. Maybe could have saved the team in that instance. Maybe the call was, you know, hold it. We're not really too worried about it. We're going to group back up, try to retouch here on point. Kangaroo Feet taking quite a bit of damage now, but when you're running triple support, you sort of have that liberty to be able to hold if you want to. They ult just a tad too late, and that will be Carlow taking the first point, so they will have the reset spawn.
Right, and the Squirrel Girl taking out Robot Ninja. 314, you know, did not take much light into the situation. In fact, there is a Squirrel Girl on the side of Carlow, and you know, a lot of ultimates getting brought out from Carlow, the Moon Knight ult and the Emma Frost ult. There's a lot of, you know, crowd control and area denial coming out, but no one from Shenandoah falling to it just yet. and yeah, just a lot of sustain going on right now.
Yeah, so when you're running a convoy map or a convergence map, running triple support is incredibly strong because you're able to stall for so long. If you saw, they were nearing the end of their time on this round 1. Ultra Lee trying to get a pick, but the Jeff is going to ult, try to get out of this situation. Penny and Groot are an incredible combination on this map because you can set down the mines, and the mines will actually go underneath and on the other side of the walls. So you can be incredibly sneaky with your setups on this composition that they're trying to run. Yeah, I'm loving how they're holding. They're a little late on that first round, but they're recovering exceptionally well. Oh my
Doctor Strange ult. Oh my goodness. And the combination with the Moon Knight ult of their own, Ant-Man firing back with a big Moon Knight ult from himself.
I'm over here laughing because I just commentator and cursed our team in so hard there, Kyle. I was like, yeah, I love what they're doing. It's great. Immediately gets comboed like 2 seconds after I opened my mouth.
Yeah, that just happens, Chase. Whether it's Smash or Marvel Rivals, you know, it's always bound to happen in any sort of esport.
Oh, so funny. so funny. And there's the Groot ultimate pulling everyone in, and they did not like that.
They did not let that stand. Oh my goodness, they were not having it.
Speaking of not having it, are they going to get it here? The moon is haunting hand of Khonshu.
There's one.
Grabbing point, and that's going to be a retaliation from their side. The shark goes down as Robot Ninja tries to back up, but finds the other side of Demon Child. We are going to see the Cloak and Dagger Carpet Bomb come out onto point, try to keep everyone alive, and push Carlow back to their spawn room.
Right, and we do see a lot of... I do want to talk about Cloak and Dagger with the Chase.
Yeah.
I know they're a very versatile character, you know, Cloak having a lot of like disruption coming out, or as well as like shielding their teammates by making them temporary like invisible.
Yep.
And I know Dagger herself has a lot of like
Intangible.
Right,
you can save your entire team from, say, a Scarlet Witch ult if you right-click well enough. The beauty of that move is if someone on your team, what am I trying to say? If they attack, then they get themselves out of that intangibility. It only lasts a second, but say if they're mid just firing, they won't get that intangibility.
And I want to talk about Jeff's ult for a second. You know, on paper, it does sound like a very strong ultimate, having the ability to swallow everyone in its path. But like you saw there before, Lena Hemney was able to get 3 swallowed with that Jeff ult, but immediately got shredded after, because despite the fact that, you know, Jeff can swallow like an entire team, if you don't get everyone, Jeff is still a support at the end of the day. He's going to have those low health pools and will get taken out very quickly, but it looks like Shenandoah is able to fully defend Carlow from capping the second point.
Yeah, that was a great play from Ultra Lee, running into the background with the Penny ultimate. Penny's very versatile as a character, and you almost don't expect it, but has a lot of movement. Able to pull themselves. Yeah, well, able to run around, and then immediately as the ult ended, turn around and pulled themselves back to the team. Sub 100 health, just kind of maintained that. Group put up a wall, they were able to put down their mines, and that was all she wrote.
Right, and we do see some you know, like what we saw before, it's the same composition on the side of Shenandoah. We do see some, a couple of team ups going around. I do, like, I can like connect the fact that Groot and Mantis would have a team up with each other, given that they're both Guardians of the Galaxy. But I'm not exactly sure what team up Cloak and Dagger would have. Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah, I was going to mention that a little bit earlier, but Robot Ninja got a 5K as I was talking about it. So Cloak and Dagger have 2 team-ups. They have a team-up with Moon Knight, and they have a team-up with Blade. And both of those team-ups create a veil around the character, and it actually makes the character invisible inside of that veil unless if they're hit by something. So you could have that veil down, and then it makes it to where the hit scan on the enemy team can't exactly line up those headshots and get the kills they're looking for.
Yeah, and that's very interesting, right? How that can be used, kind of just stay like You said invisible, right?
Yeah, it keeps them invisible. It's called Full Moon, and it works for both of them. But it lasts for 6 seconds. It has a 30-second cooldown, and it does provide a little bit of healing, 25 healing a second. So you can actually sit inside of that and heal off of it if, say, you're separated from the rest of the team. Now, Ultrally is running Penny on offense, which is an interesting choice here because Penny is not always ran on offense due to the nature of the character being a heavy defense character. In fact, Shenandoah is running their entire same composition that they ran on defense on offense here, trying to ensure that they are testing the waters, seeing what works here, and seeing if it's going to have value. Now, speaking of having value, this Cloak and Dagger can do quite a bit. Like you said, that Veil Wall does provide quite a bit of healing for the team. The opposite of that, Cloak's version of it does an exceptional amount of damage and is actually a damage amp for the other team, so it can pump out a lot of damage, take out supports in the backline incredibly easy. Spook Pasito putting in the healing work over here, keeping the Penny alive on the side of Shenandoah. That will be Goku Gamer as well, just pumping those nuts in the backline, really pushing the Squirrel Girl slingshot. Squirrel Girl is essentially the Junkrat of this game.
That's something I had a lot of parallels with, just a Junkrat, but with squirrels. But you just see the trap, similar to Junkrat, just keeps them in place. And we do see a Cloak and Dagger coming out, and the Groot not quite getting anyone. Looks like it got blocked.
It got blocked by the Invisible Woman's shield. That was Link Kid on the other side blocking it.
Wow, and it looks like, still able to get some picks off with Kangaroo Feet, but Orphe is falling down. A support falling down this early in the fight is not something that is desirable. But we do see this Squircle having a lot of abilities, just jumping on top of that building to kind of contest that.
There it is.
And you see that rocket falling. So on the hands of Spookacito and Link Kid, Spookacito taking out both supports.
Yeah, like I was saying, you can have so much value on a Cloak and Dagger just getting in the back line. Cloak and Dagger, while they don't exactly play like it, is kind of the Moira of this game. Does a lot of healing, does a lot of damage for the team. That was the first character I got to Lord in this game. I very much enjoy Cloak and Dagger. Very strong character for support.
A lot of carry potential I've noticed from Cloak and Dagger, because they are effectively two characters in one, and they both have two separate movesets depending on who you swap to between Cloak or Dagger.
They are a stance switcher.
Right, a stance character, right? It's like let's say like a fighting game, but opponents are falling pretty low and getting picked by the nuts from Goku Gamerando.
Yeah, I mean, it's not... I don't know if I necessarily agree with the Squirrel Stampede this early, or even all of these ultimates coming out early. They just captured point. The spawn room is right there, so if Carlow wants to throw all the points here, or throw all the ultimates here, they can. Shenandoah definitely will come out of this with the better economy. As you can see, Carlow only having 3 of those, but, you have to dig your heels in somewhere, Kip.
Right, and yeah. But I'm not sure if I exactly agree with all these ultimates being shot out from Carlow, right? Because Shenandoah only has to win like 1 or 2 more fights, and they are clearly winning this ult economy with 3 ultimates now coming out on the board from Shenandoah. And it's only a matter of time until they start to get popped. We do see this dueling potential coming from Robot Ninja onto these Moon Knight duels, but it kind of stands so they're both getting healed back to full health. But 2 picks on the side of Doughboy and Kangaroo Feet, and Robin actually getting 1 with the Moon Knight ultimate, but it looks like Shenandoah is mostly winning this fight. Carlow doesn't have any, only have 1 tank to speak of, but it's a lot of sustain coming from Shenandoah.
Quite a bit of sustain indeed, and you did see it earlier, the Squirrel Girl ult came through, and as that ultimate came through, it was shot down immediately. That is one of the ultimates in the game that can be destroyed, actually. So I actually put it up there with Hulk as one of the worst ultimates in the game. A lot of people would probably disagree with me, but the fact that it can be destroyed, makes it very easy to counter.
Oh, the squirrels?
Yeah, Squirrel Girl ult. The squirrels can be destroyed, yes.
Right, if you have a health bar, and see Spookacito falling to the Ant-Man ultimate, but we do see the Cloak and Dagger try to get some more sustain on the field, but hopefully on the side of Carlow, that Rocket Raccoon ult, that damage boost might be able to prove worthy, but it doesn't look like it's really, proving much for the side of Carlow, and ultimately taking 2 with that Penny ult, and Jello getting that revive from the Rocket Raccoon revive. That could be enough to give Carlow the touch they want to fully cap. But it does not look like that will be potentially enough. There's only one it is the Emma on the point. That is going to be more. Like, that could be it. We do see the Emma Frost coming out. One last stand from Jello. And this look, they had to sustain to keep themselves alive. And, you know, I might have lied.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it might have been enough there, but Gel will get respawned. Spook Pasito taking a couple out. You're going to see the Squirrel Stampede come out. It does do an exceptional amount of damage. That will be Ant-Man following up with the Hand of Khonshu of their own. And Kip, it was enough for Carlow to regroup. I'm going to attribute that whole fight to the fact that Rocket Raccoon was able to res their Invisible Woman incredibly early in that fight, which kept the sustain up on Jello. Jello burst into the fight with the Emma Frost, as you noted, was able to get the ultimate off, keep themselves alive just long enough for the rest of the squad to come in tow. Now, Ultimate Economy is a little bit all over the board here. It's going to be pretty even going into this final fight. 30 seconds left. Shenandoah pushing in, trying to take their third map and their first win of the season here in NECC. Let's see how it plays out. Pushing on to point's going to be Ultra Lee, trying to take a little bit of space. We're going to hear the Invisible all come out from Invisible Woman. Aya Bakamoto going to follow through. Ant-Man taking 2. That's going to be 1 of the support line. Now it's just Orpheus, Kangaroo Feet, and Spook Pasito on point. We're going to need a big ultimate to push this through. Otherwise, we are going into yet another round. The Hand of Khonshu coming through yet again. I'm tired of hearing about Khonshu tonight, man. Can we just get beyond this moon stuff? Yeah, that's going to be Carlow taking this round in their favor. Now it is 2-1 in Shenandoah's favor.
Right, a close one indeed, but Carlow was able to take this map from the clutches of defeat. That one touch with the mixture, you know, of the Rocket Raccoon revival station, be able to res the Emma Frost to keep herself alive, popping the Emma Frost with some more crowd control, was able to buy some more time for the rest of Carlow to get that last touch to kind of keep themselves in the game, and Shenandoah to not have the ult economy to keep up to get that to make use of that last touch that they had.
Yeah, that Rocket Raccoon, it's called BRB. The BRB was incredibly well placed on their side. Yeah, there is an entire, for a season, there was a very viable composition where you would run Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Mantis, Adam Warlock. Because Rocket Raccoon can get a res on his own, and then Warlock's team up with Mantis and Star-Lord was resing them in his own fashion. So you essentially had 4 reses on your roster. So you were talking about Mercy earlier in Overwatch 1. Kind of similar to that. You just got a free Mercy res for everyone. It looks like the team is locked in, considering how they're going to take that that round. Spirits are still high. It looks like they're just going to consider what they're running in the next round and whether or not they're going to make any substitutions.
Right, and we do see the substitute back into both of the tanks from before. Burgos and Gwenson going back into the side from Shenandoah, swapping out both Ultra Lee and Orpheus. And like we said before, there's only 3 competitive game modes in Marvel Rivals.
Yep.
There's Domination, there's Convergence, and Convoy. So we just finished the 3rd map on Convoy. We're going back to Domination for this map 4.
Yeah, we are going back to Domination, and they are going to pick Burnin' T'Challa on this next map. I personally like this map a lot. As we've talked and kind of gone through the game, we actually haven't addressed it at all on broadcast. An aspect that makes Marvel Rivals incredibly unique is the destructible environments and how you can play around those destructible environments. Burnin' T'Challa has a very interesting way that you can play around the map where the pillars will actually fall on the first map, and you're able to get to the high ground a lot easier. So I am curious if that will sort of dictate what compositions they decide to play here.
Right, that's something that I didn't really think about initially, that one of the main things in Marvel Rivals, they have those destructible elements to the game, kind of just open up the map a little bit, right? If this is the map I'm thinking of, they have like that, that big tower, like you said before, you can kind of take out that high ground.
Yeah, so they have like a big pillar in the middle at the Imperial Institute of Science. Stellar Spaceport mission area doesn't have as much. The one that I was talking about is Warrior Falls.
Right, that's the one I'm thinking of. Right, yeah, that has that like high up area that you can destroy to kind of bring them down, right?
Yeah, you destroy the pillars on the
pillars.
sides, and the pillars actually fall backwards and can connect to the high ground. Additionally, you can actually also destroy the middle ground so that it falls through, so you're effectively changing how you're getting 2 point from both sides. So I'm curious if that plays into this round. Oh, can we ban Moon Knight? Can we just get Moon Knight out? I'm tired of hearing Moon Knight. The reason why Moon Knight is so popular is his ultimate is very easy to charge, because Moon Knight's onks that he throws, his weapons, they bounce off of characters in proximity to each other. So he gets more hits. He's able to do a lot more. It was also, it's a viable strategy to pair him with Groot for that reason, because Groot keeps people confined. The walls and the ultimate pulls everyone together. So, but man, I'm tired of Khonshu's hands getting his grimy fingers all over our games. Let's move on, pick something else, you know?
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a lot of the same old so far with these bans, right? You know, we do see the Scarlet Witch ban, so no more fun for Kangaroo Feet for the most part, right? But, you know, Carlow learning their lesson, you know, according to them, you know, Kangaroo Feet had it good for too long on the Scarlet Witch.
You see as well, Carlow is actually saving this Punisher, which has been banned out all series.
Right, I do believe, you know, the Punisher would be one of Shenandoah's first bans, right? But we do see the Black Panther being one of the first bans from Shenandoah. They want to keep those supports alive, kind of reducing the amount of options that Carlow would have to try to, you know, dive those supports. But we do, like, I did see, like, in the team previews that one of the players, I do believe it was like Ant-Man, it would check out because he plays on Spider-Man as well, that he'd be pretty proficient in the Black Panther as well.
Yeah, I think they were trying to be sneaky with that pick on the Bruce Banner. I don't actually think they were going to go Hela. If they got the Bruce Banner, they were probably going to go the Namor for the hit scan option here, or maybe Goku Gamerondo was going to go Namor. But the fact that Shenandoah was able to grab the Emma Frost could be huge. We saw earlier in the duels in game, Sin was able to win those duels in the Emma 1v1s. So Invisible Woman's gonna get saved. Emma's gonna get saved. Oh, Moon Knight's gonna get saved. So I guess Moon Knight will be in.
It's from Carlow, not Shenandoah.
I know. I know.
So I'm very disappointed, Chase.
Yeah, I'm just tired of the Moon Knight ultimates. I think he's a little bit overrated as a character, but then we're gonna see the Cloak and Dagger ban come out, which is interesting to say the least. So we're gonna see a Luna Snow Invisible Woman pick probably on both sides.
That does mean the Bucky was left open, so we do see some Bucky action from Robot Ninja. But we do see so far no Moon Knight, Chase. You might be getting your wish.
Okay, hold up.
Despite that is pretty confusing. Carlow's saving Moon Knight, but no team is using Moon Knight.
I am refraining from speaking here, but I really think this round is going to come down to whether Ant-Man or Robot Ninja gets more picks. A Magic into a Bucky is an interesting choice, to say the least. Magic is a brawl character. You want to get in their face. Bucky is an anti-dive character that says, come right at me, I dare you.
Yeah, he does have like a little bit of like a hog hook, right?
Oh my gosh, he has his pull, he has a dash that actively pushes them with him. He is probably the strongest anti-dive character, I would say, in the entire game. So the fact that they're even going to try a dive character here, albeit even one of the worst dive characters, that could be an interesting choice. Kangaroo Feet going on this Iron Man is also interesting, because Kangaroo Feet does Iron Man into Punisher is a little tough. Just as tough as our Smash team right now, who is currently 1-1 in their set.
In our Academy Smash team, yes. I don't remember who they're currently playing right now in their NECC pool, but you know, good for them. You know, they had a rough showing in their first in their place in matches for NECC against some pretty tough teams. And you know, I know Willie and Mary was one of them.
They are playing at UAH Charger White this evening.
Right. currently game 3 with them. You're pretty much like, they have a couple new players from, as a couple of the players from Academy either graduated, or if you're a Robot Ninja, moved on to a different game.
Yeah, right. I mean, you can't blame them either. A lot of this roster actually played Marvel Rivals in the spring last semester just for fun as a club team, not even really organized. So I was very pleased to see a lot of them show up to tryouts this year and try out officially for the team. This is going to be a heck of a... I'm honestly curious to see how this goes for Carlow, because I've seen how this goes for Shenandoah a few times, and it is... They are saucing. They are feeling themselves.
Right, and we do see some mileage from this Iron Man, right? Like, on paper, it does not sound like a great option from Kangaroo Feet, as as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, Punisher is hit scan, right?
Yes.
So, having those options to kind of just shoot down the flyers, not having, that could be pretty difficult for Kangaroo Feet, but, getting a lot of mileage nonetheless. But we do see Ant-Man swapping to the Bucky from the Punisher, so both of their saves, I do believe they, Carl both saved Moon Knight and Punisher, but neither of them are being used right now. Both opting for the Bucky.
Yeah, very curious. They're probably waiting to use Moon Knight for another point. He's not as strong on this point as the other points. But yeah, Kangaroo Feet is definitely telling Jarvis to send him back to spawn, because it is happening over and over again. Robot Ninja backing up a little bit. We're hearing the arms and Dangerous come out from both sides. Ultimates are getting blasted on either side. Robot Ninja will get a kill here. I don't know if that will be the reset or not. It doesn't seem like it will be. Yeah, and we're seeing Ant-Man also switched over to the Bucky. Wanted the 1v1, but that smoke is just a little too hot. The Eye of Agamotto sets back time, and Shenandoah trying to repeat what occurred in the first map.
Right, and we do see a Emma Frost ult, being saved from the side of Shenandoah, so we will have one ult going into this next fight as Shenandoah takes his first round in this map.
You know what? You're fair for that. Emma Frost, Luna Snow, it's pretty confusing. I'm with you there, yeah.
Because like I'm a much more, like, compared to you at least, I'm a much more casual Marvel fan. I pretty much only watch like the movies. Whatever movie comes out, I'll most of the time I'll watch it. But like naturally when Marvel Rivals came out, I don't know like these characters, Emma Frost, Luna Snow. I thought that was completely like made up character at the time. But, like, when I saw Emma Frost, I thought, that was a new character to me as well. But I'm like, I thought she was, like, related to, like, Luna Snow in some way, because they both have something, like, relating to, like, the cold in their last name, but apparently they're just completely different from each other.
Yeah, Luna Snow definitely a niche pick, but Emma Frost actually was in X-Men Days of Future Past and featured as a character in that movie, so get with your Marvel knowledge.
Oh no!
You can hear Brock laughing in the other room at me being an actual nerd back here. I think it's fair. I think it's entirely fair. Yeah. She is a very niche character. She was just in that movie. But in the movie, Magneto and Professor X trap her and try to get more information on the main baddie of the movie. And they actually like take the bed frame and sort of wrap it around her diamond skin to try to like crack her skin and interrogate her. So, yeah.
That's cool. I heard that. I do have
I need to reconsider I need to reconsider which games I'm casting. Marvel Rivals might not be it. I just have too much back-end knowledge.
So we get to talk about Marvel. But
I could have even name dropped and said I knew that the main villain was Sebastian Shaw, but I'm just trying to like level out my nerdiness here and make it seem like the main villain of the movie. Yeah, we took point. What's happening? It's 10-12. We're out here. Gwyn Sin does have ultimate online here going into this next fight. That's a huge pull. As you saw there, Winter Soldier can pull multiple people if that hitbox kind of extends when you grab one person.
Wow,
not very far, but it does if you're like in proximity. It will grab around it.
We just see a Spider-Man ult coming out, and he will be taking out the kill on Gwyn Sin, and a lot of oh, what a big ult from the Iron Man. Kangaroo Feet taking out the Spider-Man and the Emma Frost. It looked like a pretty even fight at first, but then that big Iron Man ult coming out from Kangaroo Feet was able to turn the tide and forever further.
Yeah, Jarvis, get him an ibuprofen.
Yeah, I was gonna. He might need some.
Oh, he had the reset, so he's just trying to wait to use it.
Okay.
He used it already initially towards the end of that fight.
Right,
Wasn't able to get another reset there, but you can hear the again, probably in your nightmares if you're playing up against one that is good enough.
Right, and we see a lot of sustain coming up from Spookucito, getting those pressing the E to get some more, you know, the AoE heals coming out from Luna Snow. Both Luna Snow ults potentially coming out here. Yep.
Watch Bro Jones here. He's going to wait until the Luna Snow ult is done. He's going to Eye of Agamotto almost immediately. He's going to take out the rest of the backline if he's able to stay up here.
The Providence are falling, but the Bucky ult coming out from it.
He got stunned.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he actually got stunned. He was going to go ult there, but he got stunned. That will be the invisible ult coming out on our side to try to keep Shenandoah alive on point. Carlow staying up here, Ant-Man getting a couple of picks, and that's going to be enough to send Shenandoah back. They are going to have a few ultimates online where Carlow's just going to have the Hella ultimate in their back pocket for this next and potential final fight of the series.
Right, Barjo's going down, but not going down without taking Ant-Man with them.
I'm actually curious, what is Bro Jones doing here? Let's see what he's doing here. I'm curious if he is going to Portal or not. I haven't heard anything, so it doesn't seem like they are.
They still do have the lead, so there might not be much urgency to kind of go for an early Portal. Yeah, this looked like they were going to go on to the point traditionally, but see a lot of swaps coming out, and a big pick from Kangaroo to be taking on Ant-Man. That's an amazing pick for Shenandoah. That Iron Man ult not quite getting the mark, not taking out anyone. The Mr. Fantastic will fall. Not pretty fantastic on the side if you're a Carlow fan, as it looks like Shenandoah will be taking this series 3-1. Yeah.
Potentially, that's the last one going down as Demon Child, and your Shenandoah Academy Marvel Rivals roster will receive their first win of their career. A first for the Shenandoah program, and it is an honor to be here on broadcast to celebrate such a monumentous moment.
Right, and you know, what a great achievement this is from our Rivals, right? For our Rivals team, right? Such a a very new team, building it from the ground up. Danny Flames, the next Overwatch player for the school, putting it together, right? He's doing a lot of work to kind of keep his team in check, give them the cohesion that they have. You see Brojo's celebrating.
They're all just so happy. I love to see it. Yeah, the fist bumps in the air, the pumping, the woohoo. It's very, very exciting. They've been working very hard in this preseason to set up for this moment. So everyone on this roster has a really great head on their shoulders. You know, generally every season, and you can probably feel this a little bit, Kyle, in your time on the Smash roster, you might have one or two people that are new to the roster that you're uncertain of, right? Maybe they have a lot going on in school, or maybe they just don't have a lot of competitive knowledge or experience in the game, so you got to get them up to a certain level. This Rivals roster, everyone has been locked in and ready to go, so it was really cool to see that come to fruition tonight, especially getting some of the players that sat on the bench initially at the start of the series some playtime in that third game, swapping up that composition just a tad. Just a great performance all around from this team.
Right, and like you said, it's a very new experience for everyone, right? Like, this is the first Marvel Rivals League in collegiate esports, right? So
yes,
everyone is new to this sort of deal. You know, there might be some people like some people who were previously in the Overwatch team who had some more experience in competing, like let's say Danny Flames or Gwen Sin, but we do see some more people like like Robot Ninja. No, I guess not Robot Ninja because he used to be on the Academy Smash team. Let's say Doughboy, for example, new to competition as a whole, right? So
a Seer, we didn't see much of a Seer tonight, but Bro Jones, you mentioned Ultra Lee. Yeah, they all are new to this roster.
Right, so it's a big step forward, right? So it takes a lot of you gotta be pretty brave to step up to the plate and the face of competition, right? You're going to be very nervous in your first competition. That's just how it is. As a competitor, nerves are they're inevitable, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to be nervous, but what matters is how you deal with those nerves, because there is no way you can just eliminate the nerves. Mm-hmm. But what matters is how you deal with those nerves.
It's a double-edged sword.
Right. You can use it as a way to motivate you, can get you excited, but it can also kind of make you very
freeze
tense.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
But some people, they use it as a way to kind of loosen up and kind of just accept it as the way it is. You know, like I can't stop myself from being nervous, but I can use it as a way to kind of, you know, keep myself in check or motivate me to just keep playing.
A lot of high-level competitors use it to enter flow state. Nerves is like the trigger that they utilize to try to get into that flow state or that state of mind. You know, we both come from the Super Smash Brothers scene. They say that it takes 50 tournaments in person before you start really shaking those nerves or utilizing those nerves to your advantage. The same is true with competition online in a format like Marvel Rivals. Even though you're not in person at, like, say, a massive LAN event, it still is its own beast competing online in a new circuit with new schools that all have new teams around this game, whether they came from Call of Duty, Overwatch, or another hero shooter. Maybe my Team Fortress 2 folks out there really locked it in and held down the fort up until Marvel Rivals came out.
What a gem of a game that is.
Absolutely, though. Yeah, completely agreed.
Yeah, I mean, what a great show out from our Marvel Rivals roster, you know, even giving, like you said before, some, you know, bench sitters some time in the spotlight to go see what they can do in a time like this. But, you know, even then, even though they might have lost that map, it was very close in the end. It was still very much winnable on the side of Shenandoah. So it's just that just like proves the fact that Shenandoah is very versatile in the players that they have.
Yeah, and I think we can see on the preview here, they're showing some stats from Kangaroo Feet tonight. 61 final hits. Pretty incredible showing on the Scarlet Witch. 113 eliminations, 22 deaths, 69,896 damage. And coming into the spotlight, we got them here for a post-game interview.
Hello.
Yeah, how's it like in the land down under?
It was pretty good. For our first game, I was really excited with how it turned out. And yeah, I had a super good performance, and yeah, it just turned out super.
Right, and that Scarlet Witch pick, man, like you're putting a lot of pressure on him, right? That map 3, they finally budged and okay, we have to ban the Scarlet Witch.
Yep.
This is a problem.
It feels really bad to ban it too.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, Scarlet Witch looked super good. I'd like to thank all on my team. I'm a DPS player, so I have always had my healers looking at me. I play a lot of flyers. My tanks are super good at looking for angles, and they just allow me to like play these flanks really well. I get to get off these like 3-man ults on Groot, on Scarlet Witch, on Iron Man, and they just don't even know what's happening.
You see, that's my question for you. Going into that third round, they wanted to save that Punisher all series, and you confidently locked in that Iron Man. Jarvis was in your back pocket. What was going through your head there?
Yeah, so at first I went Namor because I was like, oh, well, I don't want to play a flyer into them. But then I was kind of, feeling myself on Scarlet Witch, and I was like, well, I'll just like put their aim to the test. And I played her on cover, and I went up a lot of weird angles, and they weren't really aiming at me, so I punished them really hard.
Yeah, the maximum pulses were huge in that final fight. You took, I think, a 3 or 4K in that final map to clutch it out. It was literally you and Robot Ninja alive. They had swept the rest of the team, and then you had pushed him back into spawn, and it was you two versus the Venom. He had to back off, and you were waiting right above the doorway. So it seemed to work out in your favor, I would say. You really tech-checked him there.
Yeah. I would say if I had to talk to the enemy team, they should like use team ups more. Oftentimes they only had like Hulk or Namor going at once.
The Gamma.
We had like up to like 3 sometimes, and just the added power is like a lot. It just wins those fights.
Yeah, we were talking about that and how it defines the meta season to season, the different team ups. Going into this game, were there any team ups that you all were maybe eager and wanting to play against or wanting to play yourselves? And if that gives away too much information, feel free to not say anything.
No, I'm a big, if you look at my profile, I'm a big Psylocke player, so oftentimes we didn't get to see that too much. We had like a little bit of a Psylocke comp.
Yeah, they did not want that Psylocke. They banned it quite a few times in the series.
I was pretty sad about that. But I think overall, yeah, our drafts were super good. We were always locked in for those, and we played well.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your first win of the career, kicking it off with Marvel Rivals as a game in the Academy roster, period. It's never been introduced before. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And enjoy celebrating with the team this evening.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Peace.
Take care.
Awesome. Well, the Smash roster, I believe, is still playing right now. I am curious where the scoreline is at with their series as we're rounding out broadcast on our end, Kyle. Any final thoughts on your end?
Other than, among other things, once again, shout out to Marvel Rivals team, shout out to Danny to, just making like a team out of, basically out of like scraps, right? Just by the sheer like force of just a lot of people just wanting to play Marvel Rivals, right? And just getting, putting something together out of just the
clay in front of them,
right.
The mold. They're building it with their hands.
He was able to make something out of just a handful of people that just wanted to play the game, right? And that's kind of what got our Marvel Rivals team their first win of the season, and that was their, obviously their first game of the season. So it's only more to come for our Marvel Rivals roster.
Yeah, you say something very special there, I think, Kyle, which is Danny Flames is coaching this roster this season, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He is a very analytical player and coach. He's very, very bright. He knows what he's doing. Just like our Smash roster, apparently right now, they are currently 9-8 in favor of the Academy roster, so hopefully they're able to clutch it out. It is a close series, 1-1. Time will tell. The best way to figure out whether they've won or not is to stay tuned to social media once we go off broadcast. Be looking for that graphic around. But from myself, Chase Newcomb, and
Kyle Dexter,
it has been an honor to cast Marvel Rivals tonight, and we will see you later this week with some more Shenandoah Esports action.
The weapon's waiting for us. That's three for me. All right, that's it.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody.